We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a couple of seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, we're going to be working off this agenda. Okay, the first department is Planning and Development Committee. Lisa Newberry.
Thank you, Mayor. We have two items on the agenda tonight, and because we've held previous public hearings and had discussions with the applicants, the Council and Planning and Zoning Committee, and the public, we're not required to hold another public hearing, but I would like to allow the applicant up to 6 minutes to present, and also allow anyone in opposition up to 6 minutes to present, and that's 6 minutes total, 2 minutes per person. So after the opposition, the mayor and council will have time to ask the applicants questions. And then just like to ask if we can just limit our questions to anything new business, so we're not beating a dead horse. And also Robbie's on vacation, so Paul is going to read the cases into record, and Paul will also be the timekeeper. And because we have two cases to hear tonight, we'll do the same process 2 times. Paul, is it okay to call the applicant to the podium while you're speaking?
Sure.
Okay. So while Paul is reading the cases into record, if the applicant will come up and be ready to speak.
And we also have Brett here with Planning and Development to help us.
Thank you.
I know since you got a haircut and shade, it's hard.
Thank you, Councilmember Newberry. So this is going to be case number 2A, which is case R25003. This is the Revive Land Group, care of Mahaffey, Pickens, and Tucker, has filed an application requesting rezone of approximately 27.85 acres located at Twin Lakes Road, Loganville, Georgia 38052, map and parcel number LG140020, located in Walton County. The property owner is Twin Lakes Road LLC. The current zoning is CH, and the requested zoning is RM6, and there's been an alternative request for RM4 with the proposed development of 149 residential units, and I know there's been an alternative proposal of 111 residential units. This matter has previously had public hearings and has previously been brought before y'all. It was tabled at our last month's meeting and is back before you now for your consideration. And that is the case, and I believe Mr. Shane is here on behalf of the applicant.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Good evening. Shane Lanham with Mahaffey, Pickens, Tucker, 1550 North Brown Road, Suite 125 in Lawrenceville. Here on behalf of the applicant requesting your approval of the proposed zoning to the RM4 zoning classification as set forth in the materials that we've submitted to the city, and that I have some additional slides on to discuss tonight. So first, just some quick background, the fundamentals. We would submit to mayor and council that the proposed development is compatible with the policies of Loganville's comprehensive plan, which generally encourages residential development throughout the city and has a few specific policies that call out what we think are encouraging of the proposed development. One of those I'll just touch on briefly is the comp plan talks about Loganville having an aging population. And so one of the ways that a city can address that is to provide a wider variety of housing types. This is right from the comp plan, in building walkable neighborhoods where people can travel without a personal car, and providing attractive places for people to gather. We think that the proposed development hits that squarely on the head. I'll also touch on, we submit the mayor and council that the proposed development is compatible with surrounding zoning classifications and land uses of property. So the subject property is there, that yellow star in the center, and there are properties that are zoned higher intensity zoning classifications, RM8, to our southwest and northeast. Those are indicated on the map here. So it's admit the proposed RM4 is in line with the mix of surrounding zoning classifications in the area. So again, just to recap, the amenities that are proposed here is I would submit a very impressive amenity package. So it's over $1 million amenity package that includes a pool, cabana, dog park, pavilion, fire pit, multiple pocket parks, walking trails around the lake, which we would agree to a condition in more detail on that later, that remain as an amenity for the community. It's a somewhat large lake, 3.5 acres. We think there's a great opportunity to amenitize that for the use and enjoyment of residents. Here are just some some renderings of those type of facilities that we have planned for the proposed community if approved. This is just a little bit of background. This is the site plan that was recommended for approval by the RM6 zoning classification. We have modified the request since then to have a decrease to the RM4 zoning classification, which is depicted here on the screen. And here is a summary of some of those major changes. So we've eliminated all the townhomes. The unit count has reduced from 148 to 11, all single-family detached. The density with it has gone down from 5.3 to 3.9. However, we've maintained all those amenities that we had proposed. Those sums could be used for other, public purpose as deemed appropriate by the city. So wanted to touch on some of those. I get the question a lot, well, what benefit does the proposed development, bring to the community? And there's always a conversation about healthy growth. We heard tonight about, the fees that new developments pay into the city that help sustain operations. Those new tap fees is part of that, so that measured growth. But here, there are some very specific line items that we can mention here, $200,000 for that road improvement, $111,000 for the sidewalk. The Hawkeye Crossing crosswalk system we've got budgeted for $50,000 for that. That provides significantly enhanced walkability for that Twin Lakes Road area, provides a safe pedestrian crossing for people to get to West Walton Park. And then, of course, just that annual city property tax that would be collected on homes and the property. So some significant benefits to the city that we thought was appropriate to mention here, to put some numbers to it. But then want to get into the specific proposed conditions. And just to clarify, these are proffered conditions submitted by the applicant to the city for its consideration of the request. The first is, a requirement that this be site plan specific. So that provides some certainty to city council. It ties the development to the submitted site plan, and substantial deviations as determined by the city is the typical language, would have to come back before the city. So we can't just change the whole site plan without council approval. Similarly, there's a reference to the submitted building elevations and renderings, that those can't be changed without council's consent. It would require a mandatory homeowners association with recorded covenants for the community. Those would include establishing an architectural review board, so that when people wanted to make modifications to the exteriors of their homes, those had to be approved by the Architectural Review Board prior to that happening. That's just one of those things we're seeing more and more these days, a little bit more tightly regulated, so that people have, our exterior modifications that are compatible with the remaining homes in the neighborhood. But those recorded covenants would also include a rental cap, so a maximum of 10% of the units could be rented at any given time. That would be in those recorded covenants. There's a condition there that the frontage along Highway 78 have a landscaped berm, minimum height of 8 feet. So that provides screening.
There.
That's 6 minutes already. So those conditions are in your packet, and I'd be happy to answer any questions on those, but
Thank you, Shane.
I'll stop as directed.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so next we'll ask if there is anyone here tonight who'd like to speak in opposition. We've got a total of 6 minutes, 2 minutes per speaker. Anyone want to speak in opposition? Okay, then seeing none, we'll open this up for mayor and council to ask the applicant questions.
First question I have, I guess, would be,
Their property line to Tomborough Road, no. We did some research on it. I will say that without coring it, we won't know, but from the estimates that we looked at, there is no base. So that cost that Snell gave us was drastically off. We've been told to redo that whole road is about $1 million. That was an estimate from an engineer. But without doing a core sample, I couldn't tell you. If that's something you don't like to do, I would put a condition. If you want to approve that, I'd make it a condition that has to be cored, and then it has to be built back to the standard, at whatever cost it may be. There's just no way to tell without doing a core sample of the base.
now, are you talking about from Tom Brewer all the way over to 81? The whole road, or just
I'm talking about from wherever the council would like, from the property line to Tom Brewer, that's originally what E.R. Snell
right.
was.
That's right.
That would need to be cored, and then we would know a price. But without saying a core, I don't think 200,000 is nowhere near enough, just by visual inspection.
Okay, well, that's what I asked for. That's good. Thank you. So I guess, in my mind, what's the position the council wants to take if in fact this is the case, then you're looking at $800,000 out of the city budget to do the work that we think is going to be necessary.
By position, you mean, do we want to have them